Hey, I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Jack with WSOU, and today I'm joined with Ian from the Cult. How are you doing today, Ian?
I'm good. Thank you, Jack.
Yes, thank you for being here. You guys
I
just
just got off a bus, sunglasses on.
yeah,
Sunglasses are going to be on. It's really bright. I just had to black out all the curtains in the room.
it's really bright and it's very I don't know if you've been
Here in
out.
Boston, I mean, thank God for the sun.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you've been outside yet today, but it is very cold
It's
outside.
it's bright, but yeah, it's a bit chilly.
Yeah, I mean I don't know how it's been up in Boston right now, but yesterday f felt like the first like fall day. Like it finally
Mm.
starting to feel like it's like I can put on like a hoodie and jeans and it's acceptable and I'm not like dying of heat stroke. Um,
I live in Los Angeles. I grew up
mhm,
in Southern Ontario as a kid. I've lived in New York. I lived in New York for like 5 years as well. So
mhm.
I've experienced like nearly a decade of East Coast winters, which are pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I have so many coats from my time in New York. I live in Los Angeles,
Mhm.
so rarely do I get to wear them. So when I go on tour on the East Coast, I just grab all my dope, swaggy clothes, and then I can wear them. I won't take them off because I
No,
get to enjoy them.
no, that's me, but I mean, as silly as
Yeah,
it might sound, that's me with jeans. Where I'm like, I think I spend more money on jeans than anything. And once it's fall time, I'm like, yes, I can finally put. And it's different considering that I live on the East Coast and I experience those East Coast winters every
yeah, yeah.
winter.
It gets brutally hot as
Oh,
well
it gets
in
so
East Coast.
hot.
Yeah,
It is.
sweltering.
I went to California the first time last May, and
Uh-huh.
I I was like the first time I've ever experienced dry heat, which I was like, I'm hot and I feel like I should be sweating, but I'm not, and
It's
something's
a dry
wrong.
heat. What's a desert kind? Where did you go in California?
I went to India.
India.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, for what, for Coachella?
No, we went for this like radio station music conference. It was called Breaking into the Music Industry. It was
Yeah,
a
it's a
whole like
desert climate.
yeah, it was I think it was like the first time I'd been to like a deserty area. And
Yeah.
it was
Mm.
just like I mean, we were talking about culture before this, before I recorded, but like even just like from West Coast or sorry, East Coast to West Coast, the West Coast has a completely different
Yeah.
culture compared to
Geographically, I mean, there's a lot of it's to do with environmental.
yeah,
That's one of the most wonderful things about the United States, the diversity of different ecosystems,
yeah,
and their effects on, I mean, there's so many different perspectives, but a lot of them are based on the geographical location, the weather, the ecosystems, you know.
yeah,
And that definitely forms how your worldview is. If you live in a desert, you're gonna have definitely a different perspective than somebody who lives in a heavily wooded or a heavy urban area or whatever.
yeah, for sure. I was even like I was talking to someone that lived in India, and they were just like, yeah, for like an activity, sometimes me and my friends will just go out into the desert, like as far away
Yeah,
as society as possible, and just like sit there and just like.
that's
I forget
pretty.
if they were like a fire pit or something like that, but they would just like
Mm.
sit there and just stargaze. And I was like, I wish we could do that in the East Coast.
Yeah,
But sometimes it's just too cold
mm.
outside.
That's an amazing thing in the desert is to go out there where there's no light pollution
Hmm.
or not as much light pollution, and you can see the stars at night.
Hmm.
It's pretty profound.
Yeah, it's a
I love going to the high desert. We go up to the high desert every now and again. We go to like Joshua Tree or
yeah.
20 Palms area.
I had friends that went to Joshua Tree,
Yeah,
and they
it's
said it
pretty
was just
staggering.
absolutely beautiful. It was just incredible.
It is. It's stunning.
Yeah, but going back to the tour, you guys just kicked off your North American tour yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. How was that
Yeah,
show for you guys?
it happened. I mean, it was a lot. First day of the tour of this particular tour because we have new production, and so we were. I flew in the day previously. Pretty long day travel.
Sure.
And full disclosure, I mean, over the last 11 months, we've done 75 shows.
Hmm.
So we just went through a period of like rest and repair.
Hmm.
Pretty torn up after our European tour.
Oh, I can imagine.
A lot
Yeah.
of lot of brutal travel, but that's you have to practice radical acceptance, and you can't you can't control traffic, air travel. You just have to roll with it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's part of it. And different hotels, different beds every night. And, you know,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of inconsistencies on the road. So we need that time to recuperate. And so this show we did last night was in Niagara Falls, and it was a quite a large venue.
Mhm.
Um, and we had the production up for the first time. So, we're dialing it in.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious now. This was one of my later questions, but I feel like it's fitting to ask this now. How has touring changed for you over the years, and do you still find that you enjoy touring now?
I enjoy aspects of it.
Okay. What like pros and cons do you have for touring right now?
Some of the cons are like getting sleep, getting adequate sleep.
Hmm.
If you're on a bus or you're traveling a lot, it's difficult to get good, you get your sleep patterns. And if you're going
Sure.
internationally, you have to get acclimatized food.
Hmm.
You think that, oh, you just snap your fingers and there's food. No, sometimes you're in a hotel and it's in the suburban area or you're at a festival or whatever, and you can't get consistent food. So your
Sure.
domestic environment, you're not in your domestic environment anymore. You have to become much more adaptable
Yeah.
when you're traveling. So it's like I'll just order some service, but then by the time it gets there, you're either face down or state of undress or whatever, or you're getting ready for a show. And I always try and eat at least 3 hours before a show.
Hmm.
Um, so food is a challenge, but not to say that you don't get to experience amazing food on the road.
Yeah. But it's harder to like, I guess, like get, I don't want to say get good food, but like the food that an average human being should have.
The average human being. Well,
Yeah.
I eat pretty Spartan. I'm quite Spartan in what I
Yeah.
eat. Yeah, so I always try and source a particular kind of food.
Hmm.
My good friend has just brought me some coffee. Yay. Thank you, Matt.
What kind of
Thank
coffee
you.
are you drinking?
Uh, Coffee from the hotel lobby.
Okay, awesome. Are you a fan of like flavored coffees and stuff like that?
No.
Ah, okay. Well,
I like right now I'm kind of favorite thing I love drinking ashwagandha.
okay.
Like ashwagandha and mint. But
Oh,
that's not coffee, but um this is it's from the proverbial green logo coffee shop.
nice.
No, it's just it's just coffee.
Yeah, fair.
Oat milk latte.
I'm drinking like maple pecan coffee right now. Uh,
That sounds really delicious.
it is. I just came home for the
Maple
weekend.
pecan.
I went home for the weekend. I went to like the little like Keurig machine that my parents have, and I was like, "What? What is maple pecan coffee?" And they were
Did they
like,
have it?
"Oh,
How is it?
it
Is it
is really
sweet? Is
good."
it bitter or
It's like it's yeah, it's like sweet, but not like sweet enough to where it's not like enjoyable. Because you know how some caramel coffees, I love caramel, but sometimes that's like so sweet that I cannot
incredibly
enjoy
sweet?
it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like just sweet enough for it to not like become the flavor, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So it's very tasty. I couldn't recommend it more. It's honestly really good.
I'm
Uh,
gonna try it. I'm gonna try. What is
go
that?
ahead.
The actual bean that's, or is that
I
the
think
sweet
so.
flavor?
It might just be the flavoring. I would have to look
Okay,
more into it,
we can
but
have a culinary conversation.
yeah.
I always go for um I've traveled through India and Tibet and Nepal,
Hmm.
and when I was in England, I lived in an area called Bradford where there was a lot of Pakistani families, and so I was really introduced to their food,
Hmm.
and I love their food.
Yeah.
I really love their food, and I can really live on a diet of lentils and rice. and I can eat that all the time, dal bhat. But then I like, Japanese food, Thai food. But sometimes I'll eat just straight protein.
Yeah.
It depends where I'm at.
I feel like in my case, like 'cause I feel like a lot of like Chinese foods and like
Mm.
shops like that near me have been kind of like whitewashed is the wrong term, but like I'll look in the back and it's just some like guy that looks just like me making my beef lo mein. And I'm like, well, you just
If
like
he's been taught how to make it properly, then that's
yeah, I get, but like I kind of going back to coffee. It's like coffee for me is how I kind of experience different like cultures, culinary. Because at the end,
yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
great introduction to different cultures. It's like when you consider where your coffee comes from.
yeah, it's like I mean, um, I know Keurig pods are like mass produced and shipped off as one, but still, it's like
Mm.
sometimes just going to like a local coffee shop. Sometimes they'll have beans from like in India, for example. And it's just like, well, now I get to like, even if it's not a lot, it's just like the thing I wake up and kind of like
Yeah.
mindlessly make in the morning. It's still like I'm experiencing their culture and how.
I drink Ethiopian coffee in the morning.
Mhm.
It's a light roasted Ethiopian, and the brand is Joshua Tree
Nice.
Coffee. Uh, I don't know, the Joshua Tree Coffee store,
Hmm.
Joshua Tree Coffee Company, Ethiopian blend, and that is written. And I only started drinking coffee about 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
I stopped drinking tea.
Huh.
Um, it's probably the only probably hangover I've got from growing up in the British Isles is tea with milk. But I stopped drinking it. I fell in love with coffee. I was in Costa Rica, and a friend of mine said, "Taste this coffee."
Hmm.
I said, "It's really bitter." And I tasted it, and I was like, "What is this?" It's incredible.
No, I think
I wouldn't say I was a coffee aficionado. I mean, I'm not like, coffee guru or anything, but
sure.
I do like a good cup of coffee.
No, I think I've been
We're
drinking
getting very
coffee.
David Lynch. We're moving into David Lynch territory now,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
which
Um,
is which is good territory.
yeah. But I think I mean, I've been drinking coffee since I was probably too young. I think I was 16 when when I started drinking coffee, and now I'm
Right.
20. Uh,
Mhm.
but still, it's like I had different coffees and like coffee shops too. Is just like I mean, in any like social social situation, I feel like
Coffee
um
shops. Think about the things that have been, the conversations people have had in coffee shops or relationships that have been made, or
yeah,
they're really central to our communities. And people meet in coffee shops and get married, people and have children. People go and have a eureka moment and go out and create the next scientific breakthrough. Uh,
yeah,
it's a place to hang out. I mean, if you find your good coffee shop in your neighborhood where you can hang out.
yeah.
Los Angeles is full of really incredible coffee shops.
Hmm. Oh, I mean, J Jersey for all of
Jersey
Jersey's
is really
fault.
good.
For all of Jersey's faults, there are a lot of good.
Incredible coffee shops.
There's a coffee shop. I'm blanking on where it is, but one of the guys from the Misfits runs it.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and it's just like it's in
Oh,
like
that's
kind of the
interesting.
middle of nowhere, New Jersey. And occasionally
Oh,
he's just like, oh, I've been like once or twice and I've walked in and just been like, oh, that's just the guy from the Misfits cooking up coffee back there.
that's
And
incredible.
it's such a like weird like moment of just like it's just like a for lack of better words, like relaxing place, coffee shops. They're just nice
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go to.
Nice
Um,
places to commune and
yeah, exactly.
contemplate.
Exactly. I mean, I write most of my interview questions at coffee shops,
Well, there you
which
go.
is that's just that's where my work starts really flowing, I guess.
Hmm. Is that what
Um,
you're interested in doing? Is journalism and writing and
um, I mean, I'm going to school right now for audio engineering to learn how to
oh,
like
cool.
produce and
So
mix and master, but like
yeah, yeah.
through the radio station, like if you would have told, I mean, even like 17-year-old me that interviews would just be kind of become a thing I'd be doing at the station,
Hmm.
I just wouldn't believe uh I wouldn't believe it. But like now that I'm like more into it and I've had more experience into it, it's definitely like a consideration.
Right.
I think my mindset is if I'm doing something that makes me happy, even like
Mm.
journalism from the sounds of it doesn't, I mean, audio engineering doesn't make any money the first like year or two doing it, but
Well,
like I'd rather have no money doing
yeah,
something I like than doing something I don't like and
absolutely.
money off of it.
Absolutely follow your passion.
Yeah, I'd rather, I mean, I think,
There's two different schools of thought. I mean, I know that, and I really admire Professor Scott Galloway.
hmm
Um, I think he's a really empathetic, considerate individual.
yeah,
He considers all different points of view and perspectives. Um, but he does talk about following what you're good at as opposed to following your passion. And I think I know what I perceive what he's attempting to do is to encourage uh, younger people to be realistic about their potential futures financially.
hmm
Yet, had I approached that modality of thinking, I probably would have ended up in a very, very different place.
yeah, for sure.
I followed my passion, and my passion was for music, but I didn't pursue being in a band. I wasn't pursuing a career in music. I just wanted to be where the music was. And
Yeah,
I wanted to be in the community with them where people who love music were in the audience, going to see artists perform, being around it, picking up on the frequencies of what they were putting out,
yeah,
and somehow fell into it. Got asked to join a band. Didn't pursue didn't pursue it. It just happened.
just
And I
happened.
just naturally followed the pathway and then started picking up songwriting and performing and then realized there was many, many, many layers to that.
Yeah,
And I learned over the years how nuanced performance can be and performance space and ritual space and which leads to so many other tributaries.
mm,
But I pursued, yeah,
yeah. I think,
I pursued my passion.
and I think that just like pursuing passion is just what everyone should do. I think, I mean, if someone's passion is working in business, that's great, and all
Yeah,
power to them.
and as long as you're not harming anyone and you are
Exactly.
considerate of your, you know,
Yeah, it's like if I mean to that point, it's like again, someone's business is working at like a law firm, all power to them. Not my
yeah,
passion.
from
I
that
wouldn't want to do
perspective,
that.
sure, you
But
know,
mhm.
um,
Um,
as long as you're treating people with respect and dignity, no better than, no less than,
yeah,
and you're getting your passion on,
yeah,
okay. I liked the album The Passion of the Christ by Peter Gabriel.
hmm
That is phenomenal.
yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to segue into that, but that's been a very central piece of music to me.
Yeah, for sure.
And the film also by
hmm
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of heading back into tour stuff. If I'm not, uh, sorry, if I'm not mistaken, you guys had, you played some headlining tour dates in Canada and the West Coast last year, but this is your first
Yes.
full North American tour
Well,
in
so
a
it's kind of
while.
more of an East Coast, Northeast, dipping down into the Carolinas,
Sure.
then dipping down into Atlanta,
hmm
and then skipping into Texas.
Sure.
We did
What's,
yeah, we did some more. We haven't even played Los Angeles on this particular. We did play as Death Cult in May in Los Angeles in the festival. But we this incarnation and actually this incarnation is hybrid version of what we're
mhm,
doing, which is going under the tour has been named Paradise Now,
mhm,
which is the title of our we compiled original Death Cult recordings and some earlier nascent cult recordings that were actually really written during the Death Cult period. And that album was called Paradise Now, and that came out last year. So this tour, it felt appropriate to call this tour Paradise Now.
For sure. I think
Yeah,
what has it been like getting back on the road for this 40th year anniversary tour then with all of that like with 40 years of like music and
it's not
kind of
really an
experience
anniversary.
behind you.
It's not really an anniversary tour in the sense
Okay.
that that's something that's been more projected onto it because
Sure.
it's convenient to say it's an anniversary, but in many ways we're not celebrating a timeline.
Sure.
It's
It just happens to be 40
it's
years.
much more instinct. Yeah,
Hmm.
it coincides with the timeline, but in essence, it's we work intuitively.
Hmm.
So through emotion intelligence, you get a sense of what music would we like to perform in this moment, in
Sure.
this particular moment, what resonates with us. And what really resonated with me in 2023 was the songs of Death Cult, the DNA of the band, the DNA of our relationship, songwriting relationship. Um, it just felt really appropriate. We kind of reached a zero point
Hmm.
where we'd been through so many different incarnations, and it Death Cult, the dark wave, um, gothic futurism was becoming more prominent in the culture, especially through film and fashion, and hip hop was even moving into a kind of much more nuanced dark wave moment.
Hmm.
Um, it was just much more dominant in the culture and traveling as well. The kind of rise of dystopia, and you know, the news cycle certainly was is challenging for a lot of individuals. You definitely pick up on that frequency.
Hmm.
Death Cult just felt really appropriate in 2023 to bring this moment. And we did one show in Los Angeles at the Ace Theater. And after we did that experience, and we didn't really rehearse. We kind of were very under rehearsed, and it was so edgy. It was it's so exhilarating doing these songs, kind of up against the third rail in this moment that we're actually all experiencing collectively. It
Sure.
just felt really vital and important and of the zeitgeist. So Death Cult found its way back into our narrative.
How does
And yeah, it was a reset as well for us. It's a reset.
Sure.
But yeah,
How does it feel playing these Death Cult songs that you wrote more than 40 years ago? How does it feel playing them now with like, oh no, you're
I
obviously not the
I'm
same person.
surprised at how nuanced they are
Sure.
and how emotionally integrated they are for the age we were when we wrote these songs. I look at my lyrics and now they've taken on such more profound meaning.
Hmm.
It's
Do
like
you,
lived experience, the lived experience that's gone into the interpretation of the songs now is different, obviously, from when we were your age.
sure. Do you
Because
find,
now we've got several decades of experience, and these songs are performed with real intention. There is no safety net. It's not really entertainment.
sure.
It's a moment, and really casts a spell in the room when we play these songs. You can hear a pin drop during some of the songs.
Wow.
The profoundly earnest, profoundly raw, visceral, earnest. I mean, it's a psycho spiritual workout to do these songs.
Sure.
We're left gassed every night, just depleted. Um, and one would think, why would you want to do that to yourself? Uh, it's part of our DNA, and it's evident in all our work.
Sure.
Even the most commercial works that we've had, commercially successful works, because you tend to get pigeonholed by your most commercially successful recordings.
Yeah.
But then you have to give context. You have to give context because there's music now that's being discovered in our canon. You know, 11 studio albums, 12. I've got other records I've made, but for the Call 11 studio albums, and you start diving into these songs because for us, there's no real timeline. You just have this massive body of work, and you go, these are the songs that are going to work for us right now from a purely instinctual level.
Hmm.
As Paradise Now talking about just came from instinctual level. When I'm doing an interview, I have to do psychoanalysis. So, you know, bear with me.
You're all good.
I have to do self psychoanalysis and try to articulate in a cognitive way to somebody who's, you know, perceiving this in a cognitive way. But the only way to truly experience what I'm talking about is
Hmm.
to come to the show.
Sure.
And you know, I will say that it's intense, emotionally intense and draining and rewarding, and it's incredibly intimate
Sure.
because it's really earnest. Even with the years that we have, still there's that earnest quality. I feel if that left, the
Yeah.
inquisitive, like I by no means, I'm still a student. I'm a, I'm a novice. So I'm still learning every day, learning. So even during performance, if something strikes me, I'll change a lyric on the spot,
Do you find,
depending. Yeah, sorry.
no, you're all good. Do you find that you do that kind of just like outside of death cult music, but with all of the cult's music, or like,
I do it with
I
my
think,
life, with everything,
sure.
with everything. I once heard the Dalai Lama speak about if he studies quantum physics, and if something he appeals to him in science and the quantum especially, he will change, he will revise his teaching, the dissertation, in line with what he's garnered from, you know, from quantum scientists, you know, physics,
Yeah.
which is fascinating that he's adaptable and flexible. And unfortunate thing for the human animal is when you become rigid things break. They don't, if you don't bend with the environment, sometimes things just break.
Yeah. Well, I
And
feel like,
or it manifests itself in things like cancer or mental health or, you know,
yeah,
communities collapsing, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, these are big existential, you know, this is
sure.
broad brushstrokes. These are broad brushstrokes.
Sure.
Um,
But even then, like, if there's some stuff where, like, if you don't, I guess, learn from those things and don't evolve from those things, like,
mm,
what do you do? Like,
we have
um,
limits of time.
exactly. I think it's like there's always something you can do about every situation, for lack of better terms. But everything happens for a reason. It's just up to you to decide where that reason, like,
You have choice. You
Yeah,
definitely have choice. You have free will. You have choice.
yeah. I think
Um,
go on.
yeah, like somebody's cleaning my windows outside of this hotel room. Believe it or not, they've chosen now to clean windows, or somebody's getting thrown around upstairs.
Oh God, I can hear them.
This is the way of the road. I mean, honestly, sometimes you're so exhausted, you get in bed, and then there's construction.
You
It
know.
happens, and then you get exhausted, and you go on stage, and you deplete and exhausted, and you have to compensate for that, etc., etc.
But even hey, even like the smallest things like someone cleaning a window, it's up to us right now to figure out where we go from here.
I'm focused
Yeah.
on you, so
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with you.
Oh good. I'm fine with doing that too. Um
You
but
can
no,
ask me you can ask me the conventional questions as well.
it's I my favorite thing during interviews is side tangents. I sometimes will write like maybe 3 or 4 questions and then just let the side
Oh, it's a
tangents.
conversation. I mean, not
Exactly.
everything, that I feel that we have the right to reserve. We all retain as individuals the right to change our opinion
Yeah.
based upon data or information that we get or experience anytime we please.
Yeah. Well, I think
You know, we do.
I,
That's our free will.
yeah, and I mean, I was kind of saying this beforehand, but my mindset is always like, again, I'm taking time out of like your day to do this. The least I can do is make it a conversation and not just question, answer, question, answer.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
also it's reciprocal because it's your day too. It's your time too.
exactly.
Your time is valuable, and you have a platform as well. So respect that. I respect the platform. Respect the fact that you've taken time out to do this interview.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I appreciate it.
I've spoken to journalists in many different many different countries and many different platforms, outlets, and honestly, we always end up in conversation,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think
which is kind of like chit chat, you know?
again, like that to me is like the best form of an interview someone could have.
Yeah.
Like I just as a fan, if I were seeing my favorite band do an interview and they didn't talk about random stuff on the like coffee, like I would just be bored. I would just be like, well, if I wanted to hear about how a record was made, I can just look it up now. Like it's the little like personal moments for me in between that like
Well, actually, that's quite a complex conversation too,
mhm,
because I've experienced making records in a very conventional way. I mean, our first demo tape I did in Sudden Death Cult
mhm,
was cost £10. We had 1 hour to record, I think, 3 or 4 songs.
mhm,
That's recorded, mixed,
and mastered in 1 hour.
it's on a cassette. So, and then handed, I think we got like, probably had a cassette each. So maybe 4 cassettes with these demo. I would love to find if I've still got it.
Mhm.
And then you were out the door, but you only had an hour because it was like a local arts, maybe a college that had an arts, you know, department where they had a recording facility, which was basically a room with a couple microphones in it. It wasn't very complex. There was like maybe 4 channels, 8 channels max,
Mhm.
and it was plug in. You walked in, plugged in. Engineer was like, "Okay, go." Maybe we were lucky if we got 1 or 2 takes, and then we walked out with that. And those cassettes went into a plastic bag, and eventually we went to London on a bus, a coach, which wasn't very expensive at the time, and then walked
Mhm.
around every single A&R department. We sat in most major label lobbies, so naive,
Yeah.
with our plastic bag with our cassettes in it, and some photographs that a student had taken, art student. And we sat there naively thinking that we were going to get straight into see an A&R person in the office, and they were going to sit down with us and talk about our future with their company. That didn't go really well. We went home so despondent because we were in the north of England at the time.
Mhm.
and whatever money we had, we'd invested it in the cassettes and the photographs and the bus trips, and we stayed with friends in Camden, maybe one night, and then we went back to Bradford, so disappointed and despondent. But remember seeing there was a band called Altered Images, Claire McGrogan at the time was a pretty famous pop star at the time in Britain. And we
Hmm.
saw her walk into the lobby of, I think it was CBS Records in Soho in London. And we asked her, said, could you take this cassette to an A&R person? She's like, sure, I'll do that. And she ran up the stairs. She disappeared for about 20 minutes. Then she came back, said, oh, I'm sorry, they're busy right now. Or, she made some kind of excuse. And we went like, oh, thanks. But we go into like speak to the secretaries over the front desk and say, is it possible to meet with the A&R department? No, we were so naive. I think we had maybe the name of one or two people because the drummer's brother was a promoter and he knew some people in the music industry, but
Hmm.
we were so green. So you just walk through the door, you get a meeting with A&R, and then you get all we wanted to do was make a record.
Hmm.
We didn't want thinking about trophies or awards or lifestyle. It was just, we just wanted to get our music recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was the aspiration at the time.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I mean, I I guess I can relate to it a little differently, just on like a radio station and like emailing people for interview wise, but like as a young, kind of dumb 20-year-old, like
You're not
asking for
dumb. Stop it. You have to remove that word from your vocabulary. Try. You're not dumb.
I'm not dumb. I did
No.
it. It's helped it.
Yeah, it's gone now. You
It's
can
done. Erased from my brain. Um,
erase. Self-deprecation is unfortunately something we go through. I think everybody goes through self-deprecation. Um, I've learned over the years because I've been incredibly self-deprecating.
yeah, I get that. I
You
mean,
know, and plus when you're under the lens of journalists and audience and you're constantly being objectified and critiqued in media, your entire life is being examined, pulled apart, your physical appearance, your your creative output. Maybe you had a moment of, you know, uh, in a concert where you may have said something, blurted something out in the moment. And then that's analyzed and critiqued and blown up and made into a headline. And you go, I didn't say that. Or you misquoted, which does happen. You do get misquoted.
fair.
So, but one thing I definitely learned over the years was self-deprecation is just, it's, it's surplus to requirements.
Sure. I mean,
It's just a restrictive. Uh, it yeah. If you take that out of the equation, um, it opens up possibilities and potentiality.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're better with that.
I had a
Uh,
friend the other day who said, I'm just a little artist. I said, no, 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 no. You're an artist, period. Not a
mhm,
little artist, not a big artist, just an artist.
sure. Well, I
That's
mean,
what you've chosen to do with your life.
yeah, I think the other day to someone I was like, not even just like I'm not even good at interviewing. I'm just
No,
good at like
you're cool.
I mean, I
You're
appreciate it.
you're a lovely
No,
person. So
thank you. I appreciate it. But
yeah.
the original like asking for interviews as a 20-year-old is just like I will shoot my shot with any bit. I will ask for interviews I know I can't get. Deftones. I asked Deftones for
Oh,
for an interview.
did you get one?
No. Well, I was like
With
I
Chino? Didn't Chino wouldn't want to speak to you?
I wish you would.
You
They're
know
like my
what?
favorite
Well,
band.
next time I see him, I'm gonna tell him.
I emailed her. It's stuff like that is like again like
They should be
a
talking
band
to
like
you.
them.
Why wouldn't they talk to you?
I emailed
It could have been
their
that, you know
management.
what? It may have not even got to the band.
Maybe not. I
It may have gone
emailed,
through management or PR, or who knows? I don't know.
but
But
like
Chino's really, really cool.
I would love to speak to him.
Yeah.
It'd be a dream interview. But I mean like stuff that
But
unrealistic's the wrong word, but interviews that's like I'm gonna shoot my shot. because like the worst that can happen in this case is like I send it to their manager, and then their manager is so busy with other things because Deftones is like the biggest band in the world right now
No, they're not, but
that they're to
not, but
me.
maybe to you, but
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. In my brain,
and maybe, well,
they're like I mean like
I consider everybody to be important, you know,
sure,
because you're putting your creativity out there, you're putting yourself out there.
yeah.
This idea of bigness, nah,
From
it doesn't work like that.
doing
It's
interviews and from
it's
talking,
whatever resonates with you, right?
yeah.
So for you, they're really, really important, and for obviously millions and millions and millions of people, they're very important.
Hmm. Well, I think even like
That's incredible
I,
to have
I,
that.
the term like I don't know. It's like from doing interviews and even like when I was in Indio, I met a Blasco who's Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne's bass player. Not Ozzy
Oh, cool.
Osbourne or Rob Zombie's like was my
Mhm.
favorite band as like a 5-year-old. Now, should I have been
As a
five?
5-year-old,
Yeah, I don't really
wow,
know why my parents let me listen to Rob Zombie when I was 5, considering I'll look back now and go,
your
why
hearing must be
5-year-old me should have
shot.
been consuming this. But
That's cool.
that was always something where I was like, I mean, ever since then, I'm like, ever since then, I remember like the exact conversation that me and Blasco had was him sitting there at this, the convention took place in like this big mansion, and we're just sitting having ravioli together, and he's just like, yeah, I don't think I belong here. And I'm like, you, Blasco, basis of like two of the biggest bands in the world, you
Mm.
don't belong here, as opposed to me, a 20-year-old kid who happens to work at a radio station. And ever since then, I've just been like, okay, these people are just like I can have a conversation with anyone.
Of
Like
course.
the term like obviously like I know I guess it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Countering my claim before saying that Deftones is the biggest band in the world, but like no band's the big like they're all at the end of the day just people. And
I was
if
just being facetious,
yeah, and it's like if those
cheeky.
and there are definitely some artists that maybe
They've earned everything.
oh yeah.
Nobody gave those guys anything. They have worked for
Oh
everything,
yeah. I
and they deserve the world. They really do. They deserve all the success and appreciation. They
yeah.
deserve it. They've worked really, really hard, and they're insightful. They're um, empathetic. They're they're
Mhm.
driven. They're inspired. They're passionate,
Yeah.
and
I can say that like definitely from like a fan's perspective, like they
mm,
deserve every that I mean, like I've been
yeah,
exposed to bands like that just as a kid because of my parents that were really into that music, but like even now it's like I feel like I could be wrong, but Deftones are having their biggest moment
they're definitely having a moment right now.
now, and
They're
it's
definitely having a moment. Another band that I personally feel should be having like a massive moment is Deaf Heaven.
yes. Oh, we can go on the Death Heaven side tangent.
For
I
me,
love that band.
Deaf Heaven are really very, very special.
I think, and I'm confident when I say that, like, I think this album put them in more people's
Hmm.
eyes. I think the next album they have is going to be just, it's going to be their moment. I think this album was like, okay, I think it's starting to project them to like
This is the slow
insane.
burn, which is good because the
Mhm.
slow burn is good.
Well, I
It
think,
takes time to marinate and
mhm.
get in, you get more familiar with it.
Yeah.
And the more that you sit with it, listen to it. We did a show together in Sacramento last year with Def
Mhm.
Head. They played with us in Sacramento, and they're incredible.
I think they're, I
We
mean, I
played
think,
Crosses as well with Tuna.
yeah.
We actually did a show with Deftones. I mean, we've been on bills with Deftones, but we played a festival with them in
Mhm.
San Diego.
Nice.
Um,
I think for
I admire both bands.
I think I mean
And I like Crosses as well. Tuno's one of his other projects.
yeah, I mean I think that even says something about Chino that like he's still you can tell
Oh no,
that
he's
he's a
incredibly diverse. The kid,
creative
he's a multi hyphenate.
yeah, you can tell that he's just a creative person that he
Yeah,
loves music and he loves just creating stuff.
absolutely.
Um
He's driven by that. He's driven, definitely driven by that.
mhm. And I think
Um,
same with Def Heaven where like I
yeah.
think it took them a while to find like the balance between the shoegazy stuff and like the more black metal stuff and I do think that for
Oh, they've
a
definitely aimed that.
definitely I think too for like a while in the beginning of their career they I think have just started getting respect for what they're doing because they didn't get respect from the shoegaze crowd because it's too black metal-y for them and they didn't get respect from the
They've been
black
doing
metal
it their
crowd.
way. They've been doing it their way, and they're creating their own path.
Yeah, and I think
That's wonderful because it's going to give
yeah,
they'll have they'll have longevity
for sure.
if they maintain that trajectory. They would definitely have, uh, and they're in it for the right reasons. They're not aspirational to for the material reward. They're definitely driven by source, shall we say?
Yeah, they are creative people. And I think another
Mm.
band I'd throw in there, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're a band called the Dallas Cowboys, which is a spoonerism on the Dallas Cowboys, but
What they call Callous Cowboys?
Dallas Cowboys.
Callous Cowboys.
Yeah.
Where are they
Uh,
from?
they're from Atlanta. Um,
Interesting.
they
Okay.
are they released an album this year that I think is other than the Def Heaven album, like one of the most creative.
Really? Okay.
They don't there's so many different genres
On
on
your recommendation, I will go listen to that.
please I can
And
it
I'd be sorely, it'd be,
it is
sorry,
gone.
go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say like it is one of the most they don't uh stick to like a single genre.
Why should you?
There's like a weird
It's
like
2025.
ex
You
I
could do
think
whatever you want.
I think limiting yourself to I don't think genre exists anymore.
I am totally agreeing with you. We are post-genre now.
I think that
We are
people are
post-genre
so
because the music journalists who create all these genres, dude, I mean, honestly, it's like a band like Death Cult, Sudden
mhm,
Death Cult. Like my path, I was influenced and still am influenced by everything I hear.
mhm,
Whether I'm going to see the Berlin Opera, the Berlin Ballet perform a Schubert piece from 1827 with interpretive dancing and a tenor uh, with a poem that's being sung, or I'm listening to I mean, Patriarchy are on the road with us right now. They're stunning.
mhm,
Patriarchy are stunning. They are a very well kept secret right now, and they are slow burn. They're going to do very well. Daughter Minotaur is an emerging artist,
mhm,
Los Angeles, and she is staggering.
mhm,
There's so many artists out there right now who are under the radar, and for the most part, the outlets that are available. Yeah, I mean, if you were to sit down and spend time to listen to everything, y- you'd be you'd have gray hair. You'd be, you couldn't
yeah,
do it in a
sure.
life. Couldn't do it in a lifetime. There's so many incredible artists who are emerging, who are, I mean, out there working tirelessly. Um, like a band like Patriarchy, they drove from Los Angeles to get to Niagara Falls for the first show. They did do some shows in between, but they did it by road.
Yeah. I think it's just that like that kind of we were saying before that like drive and passion.
Yeah,
Like this is what
Patriarchy
they
are really
want to
important.
do. Yeah.
Really important.
And I think kind of tying it back to like the no genre thing, it's like if
Yeah, no genres.
to really be like I guess like creative and to I don't know about you, but I don't listen to a single genre of music. Like my
I
genre,
grew up with Bowie. I mean, Bowie was multi-generial anyway. He was mercurial. He would shapeshift. When he was done with one thing, he moved on to another. If you look at the Cult,
yeah,
our body of work, no two records sound the same. Maybe Ceremony sounds similar to Sonic Temple.
Hmm.
I feel that that was probably the only time that we bent the knee slightly, but my father had just died of cancer, and I was in no
I'm
position
sorry to hear
to,
that.
I was in no position, or I was in no frame of mind really to, we shouldn't have, it was a record that perhaps we would have been better approached at a different time.
Hmm.
But that's all we knew. That
Yeah.
cycle of touring and recording and touring and recording and touring and recording. And in terms of body of work, but no two records are alike, really.
Yeah. And I think like no two records should be alike, honestly. Like if you were
Mm.
to make the same record every time, like what's the point?
No,
Like,
I mean, and especially when you've nailed it, you've
yeah.
nailed that moment, those influences, that environment,
Hmm.
and you go and travel around the world for a year, and you come back with completely different ideas, visions, insights, experiences.
Yeah. I think it's just like I mean, I think a good example of this, I don't know if you're familiar with Sleep Token, but
Yeah,
I
of
think like
course.
as much like I guess hate as they get from the metal community, it's like they do a like decent job of having metal inspired moments in the because I would just consider them a band. I don't think they have a genre really. I guess if you wanted to group them in with something, I would say pop music, but like the amount of kids that are getting into metal because
Through
they,
Sleep Token,
through
is there
Sleep
an
Token
entry
is like
point?
it is yeah, it's like I went
Well,
to
you went from Rob Zombie to Deftones.
yeah. I went my musical taste is I technically I went from like Rob Zombie to Deftones to like Nickelback and then I went what's like more extreme and crazy than Nickelback and I found death metal, my little 13-year-old self. And I was like, "Oh, this is it." And then I found pop music later down the line. I was like, "Oh, this is really nice." Like
Mm,
I like this.
I love pop.
Oh, pop is so
I
do you
love
listen to
pop. I
like
mean, I love pop.
do you listen to like modern pop
Of
music?
course, I listen to everything. Everything that, I mean, you could be anywhere and hear a piece of music. I will write down the names of artists because I can't put everything in my phone.
Sure.
I have, I'll find a notebook and there'll be a page of, sometimes you just go on a rabbit hole,
Sure.
of streaming, and then you find yourself in so many different spaces or through social media. You'll see an artist who's striking or interesting or has a different interesting aesthetic, and you'll hear a little bit of music, and then you kind
Hmm.
of go into that, and then you go, "Oh, this is staggering,"
Sure.
and then go off on that. Like I love Salem.
Hmm.
Salem, they're definitely my top 10 21st century artists.
Yeah.
Ethel Cain.
I love Ethel. I had a friend the other day that showed me their music for the first time, and it blew me away. I think Ethel Kane is so good.
Ethel Cain is staggering.
Hmm.
I love Lana Del Rey.
Same. Um I think there's like a
But
new
I also love Ty Dolla Sign. I also love, I love Travis. I love Tyler. I mean, I love things like Anna Imhoff, UFO 361, some trap stuff from like that Drain Gang. I mean,
yeah.
let's do it. I love music, the Sub-Saharan stuff that's coming out, like Mudu Mokhtar, um, bits of reggae, classical. I mean, I can't, I don't feel that any of us who are fans of music now should be held accountable by some higher authority somewhere that we should know everything, especially if you're a creative and your main drive is not to sit around and be a musicologist
Hmm.
and consume. I mean, Bowie was very famous for listening to so much music. He always was listening, 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 listening. But he was, you think about the amount of music was being put out in those periods of time. Um, there was less music being put out. Whereas now, and he said this, he said, there'll be a time when music is just like turning on a tap and it'll be water
Yeah.
coming out of it, just be like water on tap. And he's right. I mean, you could you could spend a lifetime in a certain station of life, discover an artist who existed in 1929, and you just go, I had no idea about this person.
Mhm.
Composers, you know, I love Max Richter. I love Hilda Godnadottir. I love Sun. Do you know Sun?
I've I've heard of them. I have yet to check out.
Sun's my prayer music.
Right.
Sun is staggering. And they're I was privileged to be able to make a record, an EP with Boris. I don't know if
Hmm.
you know Boris, Japanese
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. Yeah, yeah.
avant band. So we made an EP together called BXI,
Yeah. Nice.
and we did 3 tracks. I wanted to do a whole album, we just didn't have time. But I went to
Hmm.
Tokyo and did 3 tracks for those guys, and till this day, it's some personal something I've been involved with that I still resonates with me very strongly. But we got to play a show with Sun in Brooklyn in a Masonic temple and Masonic Lodge, and they were performing Alto, which was an album that Sun and Boris had done together,
Hmm.
collaboration. And we opened for Sun and Boris. I opened with Boris, and we performed the songs that we wrote, and then we covered the end by the Doors.
Oh, nice.
And of course, I performed with the Doors with Ray Manzarek and Robbie Krieger for 150 shows.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of molecules flying around there, and I did one other show with Boris for a festival that Lou Reed curated in Australia around about, I don't know, it was like what, 2012 maybe, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, there's all these different tributaries, of influence and music. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm listening to music constantly, constantly. I love, probably my second love is visual arts and definitely fashion, not fashion, but clothing.
Hmm.
I love clothes. Construction of clothes. Uh, I grew up with Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren, so
Sure. Do you have like a favorite like clothing line or like a favorite piece of like clothing that you have?
I definitely have designers that I admire. Like
Hmm.
Andy Millimester's house is staggering. It's my favorite word this week is staggering. Because that's how I feel about it. I feel passionate about it, so I just go, it's staggering. Um, Yoji, of course, Rick Owens, uh, Carol Kristen Poel. I mean, that's probably what I wear mostly
Sure.
is Demuna Mista, Yoji, Rick Owens, I mean, Margiela, all the Antwerp Six, Raf Simons. I don't know if you know anything about the Antwerp Six.
I need to know more about I need to get more
I think
into
it's worthy
clothing.
of a deep dive into the Antwerp Six because they were very influenced by music as well,
Okay.
and the music of their time when they were coming out the academy in Antwerp. Fascinating period of culture, and how the Belgians took on avant Japanese mixed with European germane to what they were studying in the academy in Antwerp, and how there was a group of them. But then I also love what Charles Saatchi did with the YBAs like Damien Hirst and you know um, Sarah Lucas and Chapman Brothers and um, Tracy Emin. These painters, these moments of like collective groups that were really important in cultural, and it was felt in music. There was definitely earthquakes when these collective groups arrived in the cultural conversation, shall we say.
Hmm.
They definitely, there were seismic shifts in perception and creativity. And I feel that the benefactors of that have been generations who have been able to express themselves in a much more diverse way, shall we say, there was a lot of risk takers that came. I mean, even the Beatles,
Sure.
McCartney, Lennon, Harrison, Ringo. I grew up in Liverpool area, so that was my first real the music in my house. My father was bringing gospel records back from America, like Paul Robeson had a very deep voice. My mother loved Johnny Mathis and Sam Cooke. So I was growing up with that music when I was teeny tiny. And then, of course, Beatles. The Beatles were really big in our house. But I did the first record I bought was Life on Mars by David Bowie.
Mhm.
Pink Floyd have always been really important. Um, I mean, I love it, everything up to Roger Waters' solo album that he did with Nigel Godrich is stunning. And live, David Gilmour is a unicorn. There's so much music out there,
Yeah, I
so much music, so much incredible music, and I've missed, and even in this conversation, I've missed. That's the name tip of the iceberg. Because then, as I'm talking, I'm going like, what about Neil Young? Oh yeah, Neil Young. Okay. What about Nico and the Velvet Underground? Yeah. Nick Cave. Oh yeah, right. The Birthday Party. Okay. Iggy Pop. Okay. Okay. What am I missing? I'm missing so much, and even contemporary artists. 'Cause there's so many great contemporary artists. Um,
yeah,
I mean, I've been to literally hundreds, if not thousands, of shows over my lifetime.
that's awesome. I
Right.
think too, like um every artist you just listed off like did what they wanted to do, and they didn't let anything stop them from reaching
Oh, they were
their
compelled. I don't think
in
they had a
life.
choice.
Sure, that's also true, but I think that like
Some people they just don't have a choice. You have to. You're compelled to get the work, to do the work, to let it come through.
that's true. But I also believe that
Just compelled.
without that drive to do it, like
What's connection to source? I mean, you're driven. You're driven, and also you're environmentally where you came from. It all plays into the individual. And then there's the aspirational ones that come through the Disney system or whatever that eventually evolve into the real thing.
Mhm.
For example, like a Youngblood or somebody like that,
Yeah,
who's really gifted and charismatic and at the very beginning of his journey. Um, I mean, Zeppelin, for example, Robert Plant is out there destroying,
yeah, for sure.
still destroying, and still evolving. It never stopped. It never will. It won't for me. I'll keep going.
Yeah,
I'm compelled to make music. Can't stop.
yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, like we said before, it's like your passion.
It
It's
is.
what you were put on this earth to do. It was to make music and express your creativity
I don't know
by
about.
making music.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I don't know if it was put on this earth. Maybe we were. Go and
Perchance,
ask. We have to
who,
ask our quantum friends to make sense of all this.
yeah, to explain
Um,
something.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
and things like Rushi Sakamoto, for God's sakes, David Sylvian. Oh, stop! Now you're getting me going.
yeah.
It's horrible when people say, "What's your top three favorite albums?" It's like, are you serious?
I was gonna say I hate the question like what's your favorite this? And then when I give the answer
Yeah.
it changes all the time.
Of course, it
Getting hit
changes all
with
the time.
that's a boring answer. It's like your favorite album doesn't change all the time. Like
It's okay.
it's yeah,
It's completely cool.
it's like even then it's like I think my favorite album when I was 13 is definitely not my favorite album
What
now.
was your favorite album when you were 13?
What was my favorite album when I was 13? I'm trying to think of what 13
Ish.
me listen to. I think I want to say it was. Graveyard Shift by Motionless in White. That was like the
I'm
first.
not even familiar with.
Motionless in White is like a they I think they have like some gothy influence. Maybe they're aesthetic wise gothy
Mm,
influence in their music, but they made like they went from making like metalcore
hmm
to more like I'd say like hard rock metalcore adjacent type stuff, but
mm.
they were like the first metalcore band I got into when they're 13. So that might be like a
It's
like I found that
perfect music at the time for you.
yeah, I found that when I was 13 and that like
Resonate for you.
I wouldn't be I guess in the position I am now without that album come to think. But like I wouldn't have found that genre of music and it would have never
It's
have
wonderful.
hit me. Um
A lot of entry points. We're very young, and then we go, oh, this leads to this. This leads to this.
exactly yeah, I mean even some like smaller stuff where it's like, oh, if I didn't decide to go to Seton Hall, like I wouldn't be here like at all. Like I wouldn't have the position that I'm in. I wouldn't have like the experience that I have through the
Hmm.
station. And it's all because I wanted to go to school for audio engineering and Seton
What are
Hall
you
just had
studying? What's your preference
Mhm.
in terms of a recording system? What programs
Um
are you running? Ableton, Pro Tools,
I tried Pro Tools for
Lunar,
some time.
da 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 da.
I tried Pro Tools. The audio engineer classes make us use Adobe Audition, which isn't like,
I'm not familiar with that actually.
excuse me, it's like the it's not music wise, not the greatest for producing, but it's also not bad. It's how I edit like songs. Honestly, to
Okay,
add to the station, I use Adobe Audition. For stuff like Pro Tools, I'll take like pre-existing songs and I'll just try to alter them in whatever
right.
way that I think is either can make me laugh or just make me and my friends laugh.
Do you like Ableton?
Um, I don't think I'm familiar with Ableton. No, I think I'm
A lot of artists use Ableton. I think it's really artist friendly.
Mhm.
I don't use any of it. I
But
don't. I mean, that's not my. I'm not that particular animal.
yeah, I mean, um, I think
I'm
like
a. I'm an audio. I'm not so much an audiophile. Well, I am when I put on. If I put on a piece of vinyl,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
have a
get a bit audiophile about that. But
I have a vinyl player. I have to set it up because I have like for the longest time I've had like a bunch of vinyls just sitting in my room that have never been touched, and I purely have them based off of like I thought the vinyl itself looked cool. Um, but I've
maybe you
never
should,
actually
yeah,
like I need
crack
to
it
like
open, play it, drop
I
the needle
do.
on it.
I really need to do that.
Drop the needle on it. I mean, you could even. I'm kind of obsessed with New York early 80s electro,
Hmm.
hip hop, Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa, Soul Sonic Force, some dope stuff in there. And then you see the nascent street culture that we know now to be pretty much on tap and available everywhere was really centralized in uptown New York, in the Bronx, Queens, some Staten Island. People like
Yeah.
Ram Z, the graffiti writers. That period, I could study that period and be very, very, very happy. Just, Basquiat was emerging, Keith Haring, Warhol was in the room, nascent Madonna. But that period of electro, hip hop, funk, I mean, even it bleeds into krautrock, Kraftwerk, Neu, da da da. Now we're going down a musicology
Yeah.
rabbit hole, but something about that music really strikes me as being futuristic and way ahead of its time.
Yeah,
The
for
the
sure.
what the com and that music was being made. You appreciate. We'll go back to the original conversation about
Mhm.
West Germany, East Germany. The music was being made in that period.
Yeah.
Um, what was be considered to be, I think the British journalist calls it krautrock. I don't think a lot of the artists like the term,
Hmm.
but the music was coming out Germany in that period, astounding,
Yeah, for sure.
astounding. I don't know if you revisit Kraftwerk, you can hear their influence
Mhm.
all the way through hip hop. And then we got to like, DJ Screw, chopped and screwed. Everything gets on the SERP and it goes really just in the trap. So much dope stuff. But the cult, we used to play NWA. As soon as I heard NWA,
Mhm.
like their first album, we play that through the PA before we went on stage.
That's awesome.
Oh
That's so
yeah,
cool.
it was dope. It was on. As soon as I heard that, instant devotee, Dre especially. Oh my God.
Mhm.
And of course, we made a record with Rick Rubin, first album apparently. We were in there early. We were in there in '86
Oh wow.
in New York in Electric Lady
Mhm.
because of the Beastie Boys, because I had Cookie Puss. So we jumped all over that. So again, in terms of diverse influences, and they're in there. And,
Yeah.
and that's I think the cult has been very difficult for people to kind of pull away the layers, because once you pull away a layer, one layer will contradict another layer, but will lead to something else, and the conversations all seem to not so much meander, but it, it, it's a massive ecosystem,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and in,
Sure.
in some ways we're in this massive renaissance right now where people are beginning to put it together
Yeah.
and go, wait a minute, you guys did this, yeah, and you did this, yeah, but these two things contradictory. It's like, yeah, and and what? Did we get a fine for that? Uh, just different periods of influence, and much like yourself, you're on your journey.
Mhm.
This is wonderful. It's gonna be really interesting to check back in with you in a few years and see where you're at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hopefully post college, the music industry takes me
Well, you're
in.
definitely gonna be post
And
college. They'll kick you out at some point,
oh
uh,
yeah,
and then you'll be in
the
the
real
shark
world.
you'll be in
Yeah.
the shark pool with the rest of us.
Yeah. No.
Uh, yeah, it's
It's
it's lit out here.
it's I could yap about that all day long. Uh, however, especially a lot of our questions were or a lot of the questions I had were answered just uh through side conversations. So really, all I have left is do you have any future music plans? We've been without a cult album for
There's
3 years
no,
now.
this is one thing I feel over the years we just stopped making plans.
Hmm.
Things
Sure.
just, we trust our innate nature, organically things happen.
Hmm. Sure. Do you have
I
any new
mean,
music written or anything?
I wouldn't say there's anything finished, but there's
Right.
definitely a lot. There's a watershed of ideas, fragments, some stuff that's been more completed.
For sure.
I, I personally have pretty stacked deck of a lot of material is not going to be read. It wouldn't be right for the cult.
Hmm.
It just wouldn't work in the cult because some of it's not guitar orientated.
Hmm. Have you
And
considered putting them out on like a solo platform or just like an outlet for you to
perhaps when I get time, yeah. I mean, I'm going to consider. I'm considering what's next because the cult has a life of its own. It
Mhm.
just
Sure. Well, I feel
it
like
it will continue.
yeah, I feel like I mean every I think every platform is just like I guess immortalized. Like the cult is just like that body of work will be here forever. It'll it's never like once it's out there, it's out there.
Oh,
Um,
it's very out there. Right now, we've had
yeah.
recent placements in things like Severance, Happy
Mhm.
Gilmore 2, Euphoria. We've been played at the AFL finals in Australia, been played at Super Bowl, been played blah blah blah. It
Mhm.
just pops up everywhere, and I go, did we license that? Did I sign off on that? And everyone comes back and said, yeah, you said it was okay for that. I said, did I? I don't remember saying that. So we did we had a piece of music called Communion of the Animals. for Andy Muhlmeister in Paris, fashion show, Last Collection. Rick Owens used the cult song, Brother Wolf Sister Moon. I
Hmm.
mean, Kota was from 2022, but the Wolf Sister Moon was from 1985.
Hmm.
So these are, I mean, there's a certain, but they both resonate in a contemporary way. They're timeless,
Sure. Yeah.
which is what we aspire to, is to make music that is of its time, but also timeless.
Yeah, for sure. I totally get that and would love to keep yapping off air, but I do want to ask one more interview question, which is just
Yes, please.
what do you guys have coming up in the future and what where can people find you guys right now?
Well, I've said this often about the cult. People have asked me, what can anybody expect to come into a cult show?
Hmm.
I said to bear witness to a burning unicorn. Let your imagine take that wherever it may.
Hmm.
But it's hearts on sleeves. It's earnest. It's ritual space. We approach performing with reverence and respect for the people who've come through the door and create community. So that's the conditions around how, we suck it up out here. It can get really difficult. That's why so many of my friends are not here anymore.
Sure.
Yeah, I lived next to Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Chris Cornell's in there, Scott Weiland's in there, Chester Bennington's in there, Mark Lanigan's in there, next to Rudy Valentina. They should all be still be here. It's um it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Sure.
If you're going to go, you go all the way.
100%. Yeah.
You go all the way, and you can't. You if you commit, you commit. And when you walk on a stage, you commit. I
Yeah.
commit. When I go on stage, I commit. I commit to that moment. I commit to that room. There's nowhere else I'm going to be
Yeah.
except for fully present.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
totally
that's, I believe, artists who resonate are the ones that are committed to being fully present in what they do. Like Trent Reznor, for example.
Mhm.
The recent Nine Inch Nails shows have been, ast- I use my astounding. No, I witnessed that in Los Angeles, and it was astounding.
Yeah.
So kudos to Nine Inch Nails, and kudos to Trent.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely would see Deftones perform. Who knows, next year we might be doing festivals or something with those guys. The festivals now have got the rock festivals, especially in Europe. There's some massive ones in the United States, like Aftershock, but um, Danny Women's festivals are huge.
Oh
But
yeah.
In Europe, the festivals incredibly diverse. I mean, we played with Prodigy, Muse, Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, you name it. I think Sleep Token won one of the days we were playing. Um, Sun were on one festival we played. It's incredibly Europe right now is for festivals. There's tens of thousands of artists out there. We've played with so many different artists. Incredibly out there. The great thing about the cult is we can cut a set for any environment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think any kind of festival works with you guys, honestly. Or like I
Yeah,
think
but we do. I mean, the tail does not wag the dog in this department. We
sure.
we do what we're compelled to do,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off. But for the most part, it comes off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you so much for your
absolutely,
time
Jack.
today. I really appreciate this interview. You have two New York shows coming up.
Yeah, Gramercy Ballroom,
Gramercy on the 12th
Gramercy Theatre,
and
and
then
on the 12th, which is Sunday,
mhm.
and the Beacon on the 14th. Beacon Theatre, Manhattan. on the 14th, Tuesday the 14th.
Awesome. Yeah, everyone, please go check out those shows, check out any dates on the following tour, and yeah, keep your eye out on the cult for any future releases or updates, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
through the usual channels.
Yeah, for sure. And again, thank you so much for doing this.
Jack, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.